This is making my favorite round bread, part 1. First thing you do, room temperature, bread has to rise. Our home temperature is only 65, so I turn on the bread proofing on the oven. It's 100 degrees in my oven, my bread will rise. If you're more living in the South and your house is more like 75, just put it on the countertop in the kitchen, which tends to be the warmest room in the house. Next, you have to have a place for the bread to rise, which is a bowl. The bowl has to be oiled. I usually put in about a tablespoon of oil, and that tablespoon will be used in a minute for the bread recipe. So you've got to, swirl the oil around in your bowl, and when you put your blob of dough in there later, you'll swirl it around some more. So there's your oil in the bowl. Next, you've got to have warm water for the yeast to rise, 120 to 130 degrees. I typically try to go closer to 130 degrees, measuring it with a meat thermometer. And the reason I go closer to 130 is that the bowl is metal, it's cold. When the water hits that bowl, it's going to cool down a little bit. So you don't want it lower than 120 because the yeast won't rise. You don't want it over 130 because then you'll kill the yeast. So that's why you measure your water temperature. That's 2 cups of water going in there. Next, you put 6 tablespoons of oil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I like safflower or sunflower or olive oil. I don't like canola. I don't like how it tastes. This happens to be safflower oil. You use rapid rise yeast. If you happen to have envelopes of yeast, it's 2 envelopes. If you have the jar of rapid rise yeast, it's 4.5 teaspoons. 1, 2, 3, 4, and guess at about the half. It's not crucial that it's measured accurately. Again, this is rapid rise yeast. There is also just regular rise yeast, but this is rapid rise yeast. I like the jar. You keep it in the fridge after you open it. It's called quick rise yeast. So rapid rise or quick rise. And then also is sugar, 1/4 cup. This doesn't have to be as accurate as jam making, just 1/4 cup to feed the yeast and to flavor the bread. And there's a total of 6 cups of flour that goes in this recipe. I start with 3, so I'm not splattering it all over the kitchen when the mixer gets turned on. So you start with 3. You can use white or whole wheat. Family tends to like white. I think whole wheat makes a little bit drier loaf. Level it off with a knife, more accurate measuring. That's 2, so now this is 3. And then we'll start the mixer and I'll put in 3 more as it's mixing. And this is just the regular attachment here. It just mixes things up, and then we'll switch to the dough kneader attachment. And just start on slow. Just mixing things up, that's all you're doing. Nothing fancy. Okay, so we'll put in 3 more cups. Lifting it up gives me room to put 3 more cups in. There's 1. I count out loud so I don't miscount. 2. 3. And this happens to be Bob's Red Mill all-purpose unbleached flour. Any all-purpose unbleached flour works fine. Okay, so let's mix that again, just mixing things together. You get it too high and the flour wants to dust me in the kitchen. Just kind of, to get it a little closer, you can kind of see what it looks like. It's just kind of getting it mixed together. Okay, so it's mixed together. And a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to change hooks. And this is where I get my dough hook, which is hiding here somewhere. There it is. Just get the dough hook and get the dough back in the bowl of the mixer. Of course, y'all have washed your hands before you started this so you can handle this dough. It will be cooked still. My hands are washed. Okay, so you put in your dough hook and let it knead till it's nice and smooth and not sticking to the sides of the pan. That's probably about 3 minutes.